Imagine a book so mysterious, so filled with hidden secrets, that the ancient world tried to erase it from history. A book said to reveal the mysteries of angels, the rebellion of spirits, and even the destiny of humanity. Some call it the Book of Jubilees. But why was it banned? And what forbidden knowledge inside it was so terrifying that even Lucifer himself would tremble? The Bible as we know it today, 66 books bound together in one holy collection, wasn't always set in stone. For centuries, different writings circulated among God's people. Some were cherished, some were debated, and some were silenced. Among the silenced was a mysterious writing known as the Book of Jubilees. Jubilees was once held in high regard by early Jewish communities. Some scholars even argue it influenced books like Genesis and Exodus, retelling the stories of creation, the flood, and the patriarchs, but with shocking, hidden details left out of the official Bible. In Ethiopia, it is still considered holy scripture to this day. Yet in the Western world it was cast aside, dismissed as dangerous, and locked away from ordinary believers. Why? What did this book contain that was considered too dangerous to read? The answer takes us deep into the battle between light and darkness, heaven and hell, God and Lucifer. Because within its pages lies forbidden knowledge, knowledge that could expose the enemy's schemes and shake the very foundations of faith. Imagine living in ancient times. You gather with your family around the fire, not holding a modern Bible, but listening to stories passed down through generations. Some stories sound familiar: the creation of Adam and Eve, Noah and the flood, Abraham leaving his homeland. But in this telling there are added layers, deeper secrets. The Book of Jubilees was like a key to unlock those mysteries. It divided all of history into units of jubilees, periods of 49 years, showing God's plan in a precise timeline. It spoke of angels who taught mankind forbidden arts. It revealed heavenly tablets where God's laws were written long before Moses ever climbed Mount Sinai. It even described spiritual forces working behind the scenes of human history. For believers who read it, the book offered a sense of intimacy with God's hidden plan. It was like being allowed behind the curtain to see what was really happening in heaven's courtroom. For others, though, this was terrifying, because if ordinary people had access to such secrets, what power would be left for religious leaders? And this is where the conflict begins. The Book of Jubilees didn't just retell Bible stories, it redefined them. It claimed that angels played a massive role in shaping human history, from teaching Adam and Eve's children to guiding Noah after the flood. It exposed fallen angels, known as Watchers, who corrupted mankind with sorcery, warfare, and lust. It described cosmic battles between spirits of light and darkness, giving Satan a name and an organized army centuries before the New Testament writings. For early religious leaders, this was unsettling. If Jubilees was widely read, it would spark questions. Why did Genesis leave these details out? Why didn't the Torah speak so openly about Satan's strategies? Why were angels, demons, and cosmic laws being hidden from the common believer? By the time the official biblical canon was being formed, powerful voices pushed Jubilees aside. They argued it was too mystical, too radical, too dangerous. Others said it gave away knowledge that should remain in heaven's hands, not mankind's. And so, quietly, deliberately, the book was buried. But buried secrets have a way of coming back. Now we reach the heart of the mystery. What knowledge inside the Book of Jubilees could terrify even Lucifer? The answer lies in the way the book unmasks the enemy's schemes. In Jubilees, Satan, called Mastema, is described not just as a vague tempter, but as a commander of fallen spirits who demanded a share of humanity after the flood. He is shown negotiating with God, seeking permission to lead mankind astray. The book pulls back the curtain and shows the devil's playbook, how he manipulates nations, corrupts families, and plants rebellion in human hearts. Even more shocking, Jubilees reveals that God's laws and destiny were written on heavenly tablets before creation. This means the enemy cannot change God's plan. He can only distract, deceive, and delay, That knowledge is terrifying to Lucifer because it exposes his greatest weakness. His rebellion is doomed from the very start. If the masses had read Jubilees, they would see Satan's tricks laid bare. They would realize his power is limited, his time is short, and his defeat is certain. No wonder such a book was considered too dangerous to include in the Bible. And so, the Book of Jubilees faded from the Western Church. It survived in Ethiopia, treasured as scripture, while in Europe it was whispered about as apocrypha. For centuries, most Christians never even knew it existed. But its message remains powerful. Evil may plot, but God's plan is written. Darkness may fight, but light always wins. The banning of Jubilees teaches us something crucial about forbidden knowledge. Sometimes what is hidden is not meant to protect us from danger. It is meant to keep us from freedom. Knowledge of the enemy's schemes empowers us to resist. Understanding God's timeline gives us hope when the world feels chaotic. Today, the Book of Jubilees challenges us to look deeper, to ask questions, and to never forget that spiritual warfare is real. If Lucifer feared its revelations, perhaps that is proof of its power. So why was the Book of Jubilees banned? Because it was more than history. It was a spotlight on the enemy's schemes, a map of God's timeline, and a weapon of truth. And weapons of truth terrify the kingdom of darkness. But this is only one piece of the puzzle. What about the Book of Enoch? Another banned book filled with even darker secrets about angels, demons, and the coming judgment. Why was it hidden, and what truths does it reveal about the end times? Stay tuned, because in our next video, we'll uncover the shocking mysteries of the Book of Enoch, the forbidden text that shook the ancient world. Until then, remember, the truth cannot be buried forever.